Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to DragonBall GT. Now today I'm giving you guys my countdown video for the top 5 joke characters in Dragon Ball Z and GT. And for this list, a joke character, it's pretty self-explanatory. The only really thing that I could take off is that they cannot be a character with a prevalent role throughout the story. So characters like Hercule and Yamcha are kind of off limits here, but Pui Pui, of course, is fair game. So, let's get right into this video. Coming in at number 5, we have Mighty Mask, and I don't mean Goten and Trunks disguised as Mighty Mask, I mean the actual fighter himself. Killa and Jewel mentioned that in the 24th Tenkaichi Budokai tournament, he did not do very well, and in the 25th tournament that's in the Boost Saga, he is deceived by Goten and Trunks. In the Japanese and the original manga, Trunks mentions that there's a pretty young girl that wants to see him and talk to him, and in the Funimation dub of the anime, it was a scrawny guy that wants to arm wrestle him for 1,000 zennies. Either way, he gets deceived by this boy and then is promptly knocked out, and they even mention that his costume's completely ridiculous and this guy's a complete pushover. He wasn't even a good fighter and he really was no threat to most people at the tournament in the first place, and it's just funny. And even if you look at the guy when his costume's removed, he's balding, he has a weird body structure, and he's wearing tighty whities, so he's definitely quite a joke of a character. Now coming in at number 4, we have Shenron, a Dragon Ball GT villain, and he was the very first member of the Shell Dragons that Goku and Pan had encountered in GT. And what makes him such a joke is that he was pathetically weak. For having these Shell Dragons be built up to be such powerful beings, the first one they encounter is a complete pushover, even though it's used for comical effect, but they even go as far as to have a brick fall on his foot, and that in fact even injures him. But he does seem to have a high durability, but he's obviously very weak. He gets knocked around by Pan. Even Pan knocks him around like it's nothing. His only real ability is the power to pollute things, and that thus makes his enemies weaker. But he's just such a pathetic character because he's the weakest and, as I said, the most pathetic of all these Shell Dragons. He's cowardly. He's afraid of everything. He really is quite a joke of a character, really. And, you know, having these things with like bricks falling on his feet, it just makes him such a humorous character, but at the same time very, very pathetic, and that's why I put him here at number 4. Now coming in at number 3, we have Pui Pui. Now Pui Pui was first introduced when he brutally killed Spopovich, and he was being built up by the Supreme Kai as this big, powerful guy. He was fearing for Vegeta, Goku, and Gohan's safety because, you know, they were going to fight him in his base form. Vegeta fought him in his base form. The Supreme Kai was really building up Pui Pui's abilities, and Pui Pui is very arrogant and cocky. So when he fights Vegeta, he's going on and he thinks he really has the upper hand this whole fight, and Vegeta keeps pummeling on him. Pui Pui keeps making up these hilarious excuses, charging Vegeta. And when they go to Planet Zune, which is his home world, he thinks he has such a great advantage because he's there at 10 times gravity. And Vegeta just looks at him, and, you know, he mentions that he had been training, you know, over hundreds of times gravity. So Pui Pui pretty much knew at that point that it was finished. But the reason I put Pui Pui here is because he was being built up so much, and he was such a huge flop in terms of a character. He was weak. He was nowhere near a threat to any of the warriors. So that's why I put him here at number 3. Now coming in at number 2, I have the Bruce Lee impersonator from Dragon Ball, and this guy was waiting out, fighting people and offering people to fight him, and Goku comes along and is offered 100,000 zen to basically fight and defeat him. And Bruce Lee is such a well-regarded fighter in the real world. He's one of the most credible and credited fighters in human history. So when he transitions to Dragon Ball, and the way he's presented here is very, very comical indeed. Goku goes to fight him, and this Bruce Lee impersonator has such an overblown confidence that he lets Goku throw the first punch, which when he does that, he's almost down for the count after that. Then he proceeds to attack Goku. Goku promptly dodges him. He busts his knee on the ground, pretty much injuring himself right there. And when Goku breaks the wall, he basically just gives up after that. So that's why I put him at the number 2 spot. He didn't even have to lose to Goku. He just really gave up, and that's what really makes this hilarious. Now, after the impersonator of Bruce Lee, who could possibly be number 1, you may ask? Well, it's a doozy, but it's going to be all of the failed fusions of the fusion dance. Now, that's a tricky one, definitely, but the reason I put this at number 1 is because the fusion dance in the Buu Saga was built up to be as powerful, one of the most important techniques in the entire series, and it was. But if you mess it up just a little bit, you will be completely weakened. We see this when Gotenks first fused into the fat Gotenks, who may even be weaker than Goten and Trunks individually. And we also see this when he turns into the skinny Gotenks for the second time, as well in Fusion Reborn, where Gogeta does a failed fusion and turns into the fat Gogeta, who some people declare as Veku, but that's not actually an official name. And he's there making a joke of himself by farting around, getting away from Janemba, and these characters are just big bumbling fools. They turn an amazing technique into a big joke, and that's why they are at number 1 indisputably for me. They don't even try to fight, they just run away, especially the Gogeta fusion just runs away from Janemba, like I said, farting around, just making a complete fool of themselves, and they just are, the failed fusions, a complete joke. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this countdown video. I know number 1 was a little bit interesting, definitely, but I'd like to hear what you guys' top 5 joke characters in the series were, and who do you think the biggest buffoon in the entire series of Dragon Ball is? I'd like to hear that down in the comment section down below, but I will be doing these top 10 lists ever so often, so if you have any suggestions, feel free to comment them down below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.